So today I'm going to tell you guys about the water cycle. So the water cycle is when water comes down as precipitation. So that's a big word. Let's say it again, precipitation. And then it goes up as evaporation, forms a cloud as condensation, then comes down as precipitation. So this just happens over and over and over again. So every time it rains, it's causing evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. To demonstrate that, since you guys learned about the base water cycle last week, I have an experiment to show you today. So, for the experiment, you're going to take a jar or a glass full of water, and then you're going to take some shaving cream, and you're going to put the shaving cream in the base of the jar, which should be good. And before we go ahead and do something with the shaving cream, I want you to pull out a piece of paper and write your name in the corner. And after you've done that, go ahead and put a 1. And I want you to think about what you think is going to happen. So we're going to make a prediction. And a prediction is something that you're guessing. So you're going to make a really, really good guess of what you think is going to happen. So what do you think? And the TH, think, will happen. A question mark, because we're asking a question. So, what do you think will happen? I think that it's going to stay at the top. What we're going to do is we're going to add some food coloring to it. We're just going to drop it on top. So I think the food coloring is going to stay. So the food coloring will stay on top. And if you want to, you can draw a little picture, because a picture is going to help you remember what you're drawing. So here's my food coloring dots. There's my shaving cream and water. So since it's science, we might want to label it. So I'm going to put water. And does it have to be pretty? No, because this is just telling our brains to remind us what might happen. Now we're going to have shaving cream. And food coloring. So what do you think is going to happen? So before we guess, we do the experiment, go ahead and do a number 2 down below. And then what happened? What? What? W-H-A-T. What happened? What happened? So, how are we going to find out what happened? We're going to find out what happened by going and dropping the food coloring into the shaving cream. So we're just going to just put a whole bunch of drops right there. And now we're just going to watch. So go ahead and watch. And look at from the cloud that we made with the shaving cream. It came through the cloud as precipitation. So we're watching this happen. We're watching this happen just like we watched the rainfall. So we'll just watch it for a minute because it's super cool, and this is probably a neat way to show what's happening. So watch it fall. See how the food coloring is coming down below and hitting the base of the water. So the water comes down and goes into the ocean. And then what happens again is it comes up. And if we added more drops, we would be making condensation. Condensation from when it evaporates up, forms a cloud, and then it causes precipitation. Now those are all pretty big words right now that we have to remember. So what happened? Was it the same thing as your prediction? So think about that. So what happened? The food coloring made precipitation. And I'm going to draw a picture of the precipitation. Here's my cloud, my food coloring, and it just streamed down. So there's lots there. Let me move this so you can see. So lots that comes down through the shaving cream to create precipitation. So that's the water cycle. I want to go through it one more time so that we can all remember the vocabulary, that we all remember what happened here. So, first, evaporation. So the water, and the water, where do you think the water comes from? Make a guess, a prediction. So a river or a mountain or a creek in the mountain, a lake, a pond. So it comes up, it evaporates into the sun, then it forms condensation. Condensation is a cloud. It forms a big, huge cloud. The cloud packs full of water, and then it precipitates, which causes precipitation. Precipitation. And then it comes up again, and evaporates, and it makes condensation. Condensation, then it has precipitation and falls down, and then it goes all over again. So, if we look at what happened here, we can see that the water's coming down, and then it would come up and through again to form the water cycle. So, at the bottom of your page, I want you to think about what you learned. What you learned. So I'm going to hope you guys can see this here. So number 3, what you learned. And that's a question again, so make sure you don't forget your question mark at the end of your sentence here. So what you learned. What did you learn here that you didn't know before? Evaporation, condensation, precipitation. So those are all things to think about when you remember what happens for the water cycle. So next time it rains, instead of just saying it's raining and there's water coming out of the clouds, you can go home and tell somebody, guess what? Precipitation is falling from the clouds. And they'll say, oh, really? Why? What's precipitation? And you can say it's because evaporation comes up, forms condensation in a cloud, and then precipitation is the rain falling. So if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. And it was very neat teaching you about the water cycle today. And there's so much more to learn about it. Thank you.